Hi, I'm Aristotelis Pitaridis. In this video, we are going to demonstrate how to use Razor in order to combine C# code with HTML tags. A lot of people think that Razor is a programming language, but Razor is a markup syntax which lets us include server-side code in our views. Microsoft created Razor in order to offer to the ASP.NET developers the ability to use a simple and easy to use syntax in order to generate the HTML for a web page. The way that Razor works is that we use normal C# or VB.NET commands inside the HTML by putting the @ character in front of the command, in order to make it possible for the framework to identify what is code and what is HTML. In order to demonstrate how to use the Razor syntax, we are going to use the index view of the info controller that we created in the Hello World project. At the top of the view, we will see the first use of the Razor syntax. We can see a block of 3 lines which starts with the @ character. This character is used in order to inform the framework that we are going to have a Razor syntax that the framework is going to process. After that, there is a block of code which is included in a pair of curly brackets. Inside this block, we can write a normal C# code. All the variables that we define in this block are accessible in the next lines of the view. This means that we can process information or collect information, and then they are available in order to display useful information on the screen. In our view, we have only one command, which sets the variable title of the view back to contain a string which will be used in order to include it in the final HTML that the framework is going to create for us. We will see later the use of the viewBack object. Using Razor syntax, we can include comments in our views. In order to make it, we start with the @ character followed by the asterisk character. After that, we type the comments, and in order to define the end of the comments, we type the asterisk character followed by the @ character. All the contents of the comment that we defined using the Razor syntax will be ignored when the framework processes the view. Now let's create a variable in the code block at the top of the view so that we will use and render its value and display it on the web page. Under the existing line of code which sets the title variable of the viewBack, we declare a variable and set its contents. Now, at the bottom of the view, we are going to use Razor syntax in order to display the contents of the variable by typing the @ character followed by the name of the variable. Now we execute the application in order to see the output. As we can see, the phrase "this is my variable" appears on the page. The @ character can be used in order to make more things than just displaying the contents of a variable on the screen. Let's see how to use the Razor syntax in order to define a for loop. At the bottom of the page, we type the @ character followed by the for loop, and the syntax is the same like we typed it in C# class. We will just display the value of the I variable. As we can see, the Razor is smart enough to recognize what is Razor code and what is HTML code. Now we execute the application in order to see the output. As we can see, the value of the variable will be displayed on the screen, but let's try to make something more complex. Instead of displaying the number from 0 to 9, we want to display the number from 1 to 10. So instead of displaying the value of the variable I, we are going to display the value of the variable I plus 1. This is something that Razor does not like. In order to fix this problem, we have to include the calculation inside a set of parentheses. If we execute the application, now we will see the output is what it was supposed to be. Let's see another problem that we may meet during the development of a page. We suppose that we want to include some text in front of the counter. We type the phrase "the value of I is equal to" . As we can see, Visual Studio thinks that the text that we type is C# code. In order to fix this problem, there are three ways to make it work. The first way is to include the text inside an HTML tag. Let's include the text inside a span tag. If we execute the application, we will see that the information appears properly on the screen. The problem is that when we make it like this, we add useless tags in our page that we may not want to include. Let's try to use the second way of putting text on the page using the razor text tag. If we include the text inside a text tag, the framework will not send the tag to the output and it will only display the text which is included by the text tag. Let's execute the application again to see the result. Again, we have the same output, but if we see the source code of the page, we will see that this time we do not have the extra HTML tag that we had the previous time. Let's see the final way to add text. If we type the add character followed by the colon character, we can have text which is used as text by the framework and not as C# code. Let's execute again the application and we will see again that it works fine. If we see the source code again, we will see that there is not any HTML tag, but the framework sent only the information that we asked to display.